Welcome everyone to Rise Up Together tonight. I'm your host, Rachel Free. We've got a great show lined up for you. Our theme today is Build Bridges, and our Bible focus comes from the 6th chapter of the Gospel of Mark. While the winds raged and caused the disciples to struggle, Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Jesus speaks peace into the chaos for the disciples and for us. The city of Detroit is filled with examples of people helping others find peace in the midst of chaos. One such example is Detroit's involvement with the Underground Railroad. Detroit played a vital role in helping slaves find safe places to rest while they were making their way to Canada. Seymour Finney, owner of the Finney Hotel in downtown Detroit, was able to aid slaves by housing them in his establishment. Finney understood what it meant to help out your friends, to help build bridges for others when they couldn't do it themselves. We are called to speak love and calm into the chaos that we encounter. How can you help others see Jesus in the world today? What justice issue can you help build bridges for in your community? On today's show, we hear from Bishop Elizabeth Eaton, presiding bishop of the ELCA. We also sat down with Lisa Jeffries, co-team leader, and Anisha Hamlin, Care and Communities Coordinator from Proclaim Justice. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Rise Up Together tonight.
Higher than the mountains, deeper than the sea, wider than the oceans is your love for me. You're with me on the valleys and the valleys below. You are right here beside me everywhere that I go. You, oh Lord, I lift up my soul. To you I trust, oh Lord. Trust, oh Lord. You, oh Lord, I lift up my soul. To you I trust, oh Lord.
Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter, Nicole Lyons, interviewed Bishop Elizabeth Eaton. Let's hear from the presiding bishop of the ELCA.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with presiding bishop of the ELCA, Bishop Elizabeth Eaton. How are you today?
Pretty well. I went through two Eucharist services, one at 8 and one at 9, with hundreds of kids who are completely pumped.
Awesome.
That was great.
It's kind of a nice atmosphere.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Pretty high energy. It was great.
All right. So our theme for today's show is Build Bridges, and our focus of the day is Proclaim Justice. What do you see as the ELCA's role in justice and in the world around us and the communities around us?
Well, I think we as Lutherans have a very interesting, maybe a particular take on that, is that because we've been set free by the death and resurrection of Jesus, we are free then to spend our lives in service to the neighbor. So there's no such thing as a private religious experience. There's a personal relationship with Christ, but then we're out there being church for the sake of the world. So we're very engaged on across this country in our congregations, agencies, institutions, and advocacy that we do. It's very important for us. And one thing that's been a particular challenge for us, but also I think where the church has shown up, as we, as the ELCA, accompany these unaccompanied minor children coming to our borders, and our congregations have pitched in, our social service agencies, our advocacy office in Washington, D.C., to make it possible for these refugee children and their mothers to have some sense of peace and security that they don't have in their countries of origin. We get to work as Lutherans, and we show up in a lot of places, and we don't leave until the job is over.
Which is a very common theme throughout the ELCA.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the bigger themes coming from the gathering is Proclaim Story. How can we better listen to the stories around us and kind of take those back home with us?
Well, maybe if we actually listened, it would be good, instead of formulating our response in the meantime. But I think a couple of things. First, I think we have to realize that we're part of God's story in Jesus, and how do we see that? And then when we tell each other's stories, we have to see that it's not some story from somebody separate from their story has an impact on ours, and finally it's all part of the same story. So instead of seeing somebody as some separate, interesting person out there, seeing them actually as a brother or sister whose life have an impact on ours as ours has an impact on theirs.
How can we tell our story in the meantime?
Well, we better know our story, first of all. And our story is that, as I said before, we've been set free by the death and resurrection of Jesus, which means all of those things in our lives that get in the way of that relationship have been dissolved by that, And we're able now to get over ourselves, and because of that, we can tell people that you are loved completely by the one who knows you completely.
All right, such a good story coming out of the Lutherans here. So what role do youth and young adults have in our church?
I really, when people say that youth are the future of the church, that makes me crazy. It makes me crazy because they're not the future of the church, they're the church now. Jesus is the future of the church. And if we in our congregations, as bishops, as pastors, as lay folks could see youth and young adults not as replacement parts for us, but as baptized brothers and sisters who have had an experience of the crucified and risen Christ in their own unique way, and just make room for them to express that, while at the same time honoring their stories as they listen to ours. I think church is maybe the few places left in American society where it's truly intergenerational. It's a great thing.
So there's youth out there that have those questions, have those doubts maybe about their faith and about different aspects of their life. How does the church try to make space for them and answer their questions?
I'm not sure we're always so good about that, because I think as adults, we're afraid to let anyone know that we might have doubts. And doubt is that's just a part of faith. There are a lot of things that I came to doubt as I got to be older, when I was in high school, college, even in my adult life. And there are probably parts of my faith that I needed to doubt as I was learning more and God was calling more deeply in. So we as adults need to be able to say, yes, sometimes we don't have this figured out. And if we're able to do that, while at the same time trusting that even though we don't get it, God gets us, then it might be possible for youth and young adults to say, all right, it's safe for me to say I'm growing in my faith, or I'm lost at this time, but I'm going to trust in this community to carry me as I trust that God will carry me.
What hopes and dreams of the future of the ELCA do you have after seeing 30,000 church members working, worshiping, and growing in their faith together?
These kids and their advisors, God love them. They're looking a little bleary-eyed at 8 o'clock, the advisors, and the kids as well. But if the excitement that people have, expressed either exuberantly or maybe with a quiet passion, if that could be felt and seen by all of our folks, it just seems to me, especially when we're in the Dome or in the worship service this morning, that for a few moments we all worship and live as if we believe the resurrection was really true, and that there really is nothing that can separate us from the love of God in Jesus Christ. And so if we don't lose that zeal when we go out and don't get that ground down by the world, maybe infect the church with that. So we could be maybe one of the few places in the world that says that there's hope and there's goodness, that cynicism is just a waste of energy, and everything's been taken care of for us in Christ, and in baptism we've already died the only death that really matters. So we're free to go out there. We could be a very dangerous people.
This is your first gathering as a presiding bishop, and what was that like to walk into Ford Field and welcome everybody to Detroit on Wednesday night?
Well, the lead up was pretty terrifying. So we had done a sound check the day before, and we were in the empty Ford Field, and to realize how many seats were available. And then waiting to go on stage was also pretty terrifying. But once I got there, people were just so pumped. They were happy. It was a great time. It was a lot of fun.
It looked like you were having a lot of fun.
I did. But I kept it under my 4 minutes. I was very careful about that.
Good work. Okay.
Thank you.
So what does this gathering mean to you personally?
Just that the church is alive and well because God's Spirit is alive and well. And people unafraid to just let themselves go in praise and service and singing and just having a lot of fun. And so there's a lot of hope for the church.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
No, it was wonderful. Thank you.
All right, back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Nicole. Bishop Eaton, we appreciate you sharing your time with us on Rise Up Together tonight. Proclaim Justice provides an opportunity for young people to work alongside Detroit residents and help them recreate an American city. Many people have written off Detroit, but we have the unique opportunity to see firsthand the resiliency of people of Detroit. On Proclaim Justice Day, young people learn lessons from the people they serve alongside that they will remember long after the gathering. Here are some highlights from Proclaim Justice.
We are all the change. We are all the arms, the hearts, the brains. We are all the hands that's working for the kingdom. We are all the feet that's marching on the freedom. We are all the head, anointed and washed. We are all the finger that points to the cross. We are restored, chosen and called. We are the doors open to all. We are all the feet, we are all his hands. His visions, his hopes, his dreams, and his plans. We are all his feet, we are all his hands. We are because of the I am.
Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter, Nicole Lyons, interviewed Lisa Jeffries, co-team leader for Proclaim Justice.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with Lisa Jeffries, Proclaim Justice team leader. Now, not many people at the gathering get a chance to get to know the behind-the-scenes people. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do outside of the gathering?
I'm the Director of Youth Ministry for the Southeast Michigan Synod, which involves Detroit and the 120 congregations of Southeast Michigan. So that's my other hat that I wear when I'm not working for the gathering.
All right, so what exactly do you do for the gathering then?
So what I do is organize and help put together the plan for the Proclaim Justice projects that all the participants will be going out on. We have a large team. There are about 55 of us who are doing all kinds of things behind the scenes to prepare for the youth gathering. And we've been working with our partners for the last 2.5 years to make sure that we provide the best opportunity possible for both our participants and our partners.
What sort of experiences do you hope the youth get out of going out and doing their Proclaim Justice activities?
What we always say to our partners is the most important thing for us is for them to hear the story of the organizations and the agencies and the neighborhoods that they're going to be working in. That's the primary thing, so that all of our participants can come into the city and hear something different than what they typically hear on the news about Detroit, but that they can see for themselves. And we've had lots of groups visit Detroit just in just anticipation of the gathering coming, and every single group that comes to the city at the end of their experience says, this isn't what I expected. And we always ask, well, what was it that you did expect? Well, I don't know, but I didn't expect this. You know, everyone's so nice and it's so clean and everything, you know, it's just such a wonderful place. And we've always felt that about Detroit, but we're really excited about the opportunity to have other people from around the country be able to experience the Detroit that we know and love.
What do you hope Detroit will look like the Monday after the gathering, or 3 years from now?
You know, I think the one thing that the gathering can provide to Detroit neighborhoods is that that feeling of, that we're not forgotten about, that people do care about us, and that they are willing to come here. And I think that what really can happen is that our participants can see the tenacity of the folks that live in the city and have been working so hard and have created these wonderful little systems of how to kind of take care of themselves, because they don't really have the structure and the systems to support what they're doing and where they're living. So they kind of fend for themselves.
All right, so what does this all mean for you? What does the gathering mean for you personally?
You know, I remember my first gathering was in Atlanta, and I was a youth worker, and I took a group of kids, and walking into the stadium that first night and seeing that sea of people and just feeling that connectedness to the larger church, and to know that that we're all part of God's family. It was just an amazing experience.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks you, Coco. It's good to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. We'll be right back.
Pastor Obvious here, reminding you to always use proper escalator etiquette. If it's going down, go down. If it's going up, go up. And always be kind and courteous to your fellow travelers.
Thanks, Pastor Obvious.
Thanks, Pastor Obvious. Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter Nicole Lyons interviewed Anisha Hanlon from Proclaim Justice. Anisha is from Detroit and she shares her story and her role with the gathering.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with Anisha Hamlin, Care and Community Team Leader. Anisha, not many people know the behind-the-scenes work that goes on to here, or the people from behind the scenes. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do outside of the gathering?
Well, again, my name is Anisha Hamlin. I am a student at Wayne State University. I'm a junior. I'm studying public affairs as well as public relations, and I am a student fundraiser for Wayne State University.
All right, and it's my understanding that you're here from Detroit, so you haven't had to travel very far.
Yep, I am from Detroit. I actually attended Cass Technical High School, which is right down the street.
Right. So what's it like seeing 30,000 people kind of come into your city all at once?
It's exciting for me. I like seeing positivity in my city. So.
Awesome. So what do you do specifically for the gathering?
So I am the Care and Communities Coordinator. It is my job as to reach out to organizations just to see if they want to partner with us so that our children can do various community service activities. And then Care and Communities is specifically directed towards just reaching out to the community and really getting an interaction with our students and the community of Detroit.
All right, so how have you kind of connected your outside experiences to your gathering experiences?
Well, being from Detroit, I mean, I pretty much know what goes on in my neighborhoods, you know, and everyone pretty much knows because of media and news. But, you know, with the blight, you know, and various other things that's happening in Detroit, I just use those things and really ask myself, how can I give these children an experience where they can really get involved with Detroit and know who we are, while creating a service learning activity for them to understand what they're doing is a blessing for those who live here. So that's how I kind of went about it.
Right, and how did you get involved with the gathering?
I attend a Lutheran church. I attend Gracious Savior. It's on the west side of Detroit. I joined the church at age 14, and the congregation there just kind of loved on me and told me about the gathering. I met the phenomenal Lisa Jeffries, and she suggested that I be a part of her team, and now I'm here.
Now you're here. All right, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So how did you decide on organizations and communities to send the youth out to?
I pretty much reached out to those directly in the Detroit area as much as I could, because I really wanted the students to get the real Detroit aspect of the gathering. I wanted them to get that real connection as to what Detroit really looks like versus downtown, because, you know, downtown isn't Detroit. Downtown isn't Detroit in my eyes, but I really just wanted them to connect with the residents of the community so they can really see for themselves what's going on and how much of a blessing that they are providing to the residents here in Detroit.
What does the gathering mean to you personally?
To me, the gathering is just a wonderful experience as far as spiritually. I'm so excited to go to worship, to see all these, you know, students worshiping together. That is going to be definitely an experience to forever remember, and to be glad that I was a part of something like that. That's really what it is to me. Just the spiritual experience versus you know, the hard work behind the scenes, but just coming at the end of the day, going to worship and seeing all these people here for a good cause because of Christ. That's what it means to me.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your
Thank
leadership.
you. Thank you.
All right, back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Nicole. Here are some highlights from the week so far.
Jesus, you promised wherever 2 or more are gathered in your name, you would be in the midst of them. Well, Lord, there are a whole lot more than 2 of us here tonight. And where are we? We're in Detroit.
Ho, ho, ho. Open up your door. I'm finish the ice. And I got something to show. Check it out.
We're gonna take our lives this week. They're gonna be a shout to the Lord. A shout that says we will stand up against hunger and oppression. A shout that says we will stand up for those who are cast out.
Speedy was boogity, 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 boogity.
me hear you say no way, baby. No.
I made it easy to dance with this. Make it cooperate.
Guys, it's my twin brother. How's it going? Nice to see you again. I haven't seen you since birth.
We'll have more Rise Up Together tonight after this.
We are the MCs for Rise Up Detroit Morning Show. I'm Matt Johnson.
And I'm Betsy Morningstar.
And we will be at the stage outside the Grand Ballroom Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. We are providing numerous games and audience interactive pieces. The games, going out amongst your friends and peers and getting random things from them. So we're going to be having a lot of fun. So we need as much participation as possible, as much of a crowd as possible, in order for you to be a part of the experience with us.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We have some really great guests that are coming on our show as well. We have 3 amazing bishops that are going to be here on our show that we get to interview. Also some really great people from nonprofit organizations around the area and with the ELCA. And the best thing about this whole entire show is that we are live streamed every morning. So you can go to elca.org/gathering and check us out. So whether you're here or being transported here on one of the buses, you can look us up on your phones and live stream us. Anybody who is at home that couldn't come or family members that want to check out the show, you can totally look it up online and live stream us and see us in the morning, which is great because with all the kids that we want to have on our show and all the youth that we want participating, we can give shout outs to a lot of people and get some of our 30,000 Lutherans that are at the convention center on our show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We also have our own little personal challenge. So we need as many people there as possible. We're going to try and attempt to get all 50 states covered.
Yes.
This is a national gathering of the Lutheran Church. So I believe in 2012 I fell a little short of that 50 number. So I think our goal is to definitely hit 50. So please come out. Please join us on stage. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So 8 to 10 in the morning, we will see you there. We are Rise Up Detroit. If you have things you want to share with us, by the way, you can send us pictures or tweet information about what's happening in Detroit. Just do #GatheringShow and we'll find it, and we would love to share your information and your pictures on our show.
That's it for tonight. We hope you enjoyed our show. Tune in tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. for more interviews, highlights, and to learn about Proclaim's story. On behalf of everyone at Rise Up Together tonight, I'm Rachel Freet. Thanks for watching.